We did it, you guys. We got it. We got the armor. What is up, everyone? It is good to see you again, and I know I've been promising a crafting tutorial with our phase 1, and this is only going to be for the Armourer, just a heads up. We're going to go over tips and little tricks and kind of a basic guide to get yourself to mastery level of Armourer for phase 1, so through Apprentice and to Journeyman. I know I've been getting kind of ripped apart in the comments with it and asking questions. When are you going to do a tutorial? When are you going to do this? We're sick of watching just gameplay videos, which I understand and is understandable.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
The main thing is, like, the beta just came out. Everybody's reliving this and relearning, especially myself. I am by far, like, I've been playing Lotro since it came out, and I've been playing for upwards of 15 years, but I'm still coming back to Shadows of Angmar's, there's a lot of things to remember. Like, it's very different than what Lotro is today. All right. So just bear with me. I'm going to also be making a captain like phase 1 tutorial, and then eventually kind of slowly roll out more guides and tutorials with different crafting and different classes, because it's going to take time for me to play these classes and do these crafting professions with each class, because I'm not a guy who gets to play 12 hours every single day. I have a house, I have a dog that I have to train, I have like a puppy that's only 1 year old. I'm still training, working on, I got a fiance, we're planning a wedding and everything. I don't have all the time in the day to be constantly playing, so just bear with me. So far, I appreciate all the love and support you guys are already given, and let's just get kind of right into it. First things first. All right, you always, as soon as you, whether you're a dwarf or a hobbit or a human, as soon as you are able to go to the first craft hall that you can go to see the Master of Apprentices, you want to visit him and learn a crafting vocation. Now, you can find any one of these Master Apprentices in the initial crafting halls. For dwarfs, that would be just inside Thorin's Hall. For elves, I'm not 100% sure. I know it's somewhere down in Selendum, in one of the initial places. But even as an elf, you kind of start up in the area of Thorin's Hall as well. And then for men, there's Combe right there, right off one of the roads that starts to head straight towards east to Chetwood. There's a crafting hall that you can go inside, and the Master Apprentice is there. You also have the crafting hall in Bree with the Master Apprentices, and then you also, for the hobbits in Michael Delving, you have a crafting hall with the Master Apprentices and all of that. All right, now, as my first main character is being a captain which wears heavy armor, I thought it'd be best for me as to be an armor to that ability to craft my own armor. I don't have to rely on quests or rely on instances or whatnot to get me armor, or I guess make money and then just buy it off the auction house, which is, you can do. You can always just do, I forget what, I think it's Explorer, which is basically you're just a collector of crafting materials, and you can end up just selling them on the auction house and then just buy your gear off the auction house. That's perfectly viable as well. Up to you, but for me, it's very beneficial to being able to craft my own armor, or even craft armor that you can then give to kinmates or friends and then sell on the auction house. All right, now when you first start with any vocation, your initially level is Apprentice. Now each level has 2 tiers to rank in that level. So like Apprentice has your initial tier 1 of mastery, and then there's a second tier of mastery. All right, in order to then obtain the mastery and achieve the next mastery, to get to the tier 2, and then you fulfill all the way up through tier 2 mastery, that is what then allows you the ability to crit and get crit outcomes with your crafting. Now, as an armor, you have 3 crafts. You have prospecting, metalsmithing, and tailoring. Prospecting is your skill for mining ore and smelting that ore. Metalsmithing is taking that smelted ore and using it to craft armor. And then tailoring is another craft that you can craft light and medium armor, as well as materials needed in order to craft armor with metalsmithing. There are some materials that you craft with your hides that you actually use with your metalsmithing, just a heads up. All right. As you progress through these levels, through these crafts towards mastery, make sure with metalsmithing and tailoring, specifically metalsmithing and tailoring, once you cap out the that first tier of your mastery, there's a quest that you need to complete before you can keep progressing your experience points into the second tier. If you don't complete this quest, you're going to be gaining experience from whatever you're crafting, and it's going to go nowhere. It's because you're capped out. You have to do that quest before you can unlock the ability to progress to the full mastery before you have to complete that quest. If you don't, you're going to be crafting stuff and that experience is going to go nowhere. All right. So you have to make sure if you're metalsmith, you will talk to the novice metalsmith or metalsmith in one of the crafting halls. They'll have a quest. And usually I think for both quests with apprenticeship and journeyman, you go to Thorin's Hall to talk to, I forget his name, but you go to Thorin's Hall, there's a NPC there, and then they give you a quest that you have to complete by crafting some specific item. And then you turn it in and complete it, and that unlocks, it opens up that ability to then continue progressing to maxing out that second tier of mastery. All right. So make sure you do those. Now for apprentice prospecting and metalsmithing, you're going to want plenty of copper and tin ore. Now these can be found very abundantly, and I mean in Chetwood is even a decent place, and you're going to be questing through Chetwood anyway, so you're going to get plenty of that through Chetwood. And even when you go through the Midgewater Marshes, as well as the Bree Fields, as well as many places in Western Shire and Arid Lewin. Now you want to acquire as much copper and tin as you can to craft those bronze ingots until you reach mastery. Then take those bronze ingots and then also craft your metalsmith components, and then craft armor from those components until you reach that mastery for that as well. Remember, you must complete that quest as soon as you max out that first tier of mastery in apprentice metalsmithing and tailoring as well. When you hit that, you need to do that quest before you can continue on to contributing XP towards the master level. All right. Now, the best places, if you've already gone through your questing stuff and you need more copper or tin, again, is usually, I've had the best luck with doing a loop through the Midgewater Marshes, in which at the same time you can farm deeds with killing flies or goblins, whatever. And then, which I don't think actually goblins are a deed in the Breelands, but you can get that with the flies and then the Neeker Breakers. Or you can go in the Bree Fields, and that's another great place. The Western Bree Fields right outside of Bree to the west is a great place for copper and tin farming. All right. Now, for apprentice tailoring, the best place to farm light hides, at least what I have found, is from the wolves that are inside Chetwood. They're like right inside when you go into Chetwood, and then you go a little bit north. There's a bunch of wolf dens all around each other. They have a great respawn rate. They're constantly there. It's usually not too overcrowded. You just go in there and you just keep killing them for those hides. I'm trying to think if there's anything in any other areas, the Shire or Arid Lewin, where you could have a deed. I mean, there is a wolf deed in Arid Lewin, which would actually be worthwhile. And there is actually a nice little cove down in the southwest area of Arid Lewin, which I'll show in a map here and show you. That actually would be a good spot too. I made a man, so I wasn't near there, but if you want to farm deeds and farm your crafting at the same time, that will be a great place, because you'll get the light hides and you'll be making progress towards a deed of Wolf Slayer in Arid Lewin. So that would be actually really good for you. Now there's also another wolf slayer deed in the Shire, and there's two great spots for wolves that you can kill to get that deed, as well as those light hides at Dora Brownlock's farm. And then also I would say the better place is the wolf den, where you can keep just doing circles and you're going to get those light hides and you're going to complete a slayer deed at the same time. Now what you want to do is make sure you're going to take these, you're going to have to collect as much hides as you can. And then as an armorer, you're going to have to either have an alt who is in a forester who can boil these hides, or you're going to need a kinmate or a friend or just someone in the world and ask them to boil these hides for you. And that, because with your tailoring, you can't really do anything with the base hides. You need them to be boiled in order to use them. All right, so you want to collect an abundant amount of them, and then you're going to want them to get boiled. Then you're going to take these boiled hides and you craft up your tailoring components, and then you take those components just like with the metalsmithing, and you're going to craft medium armor or light armor to then keep gaining that experience. All right, there's a place called the Greenway. So sorry, I was jumping into Journeyman already. So you want to make sure you get abundant amount of it, because Apprentice isn't too difficult to get up there, but it takes time. You get there for both metalsmithing and tailoring. Once you cap out apprenticeship, now going kind of back to prospecting, just so you know, the reason why I didn't mention it is with prospecting, you don't have to complete a quest to progress towards the second tier of mastery, just FYI. All right. Now jumping forward into Journeyman. Now Journeyman for prospecting, metalsmith, and tailoring, you can all hit. At least this is what I found. I think there's areas over in Lone Lands too, but there's an area that you can hit all three at the same time, and it's very efficient. You can hit them all. There's a place called the Greenway just north of Trestle Bridge. That is an awesome spot that you can do circles and you're just killing all the boars and wolves as you're looking for silver ores and then silver veins. There we go. I was like brain farting. Silver ore veins and then barrel iron ore veins. All right, collect as much ore and medium hides as you need to reach mastery in all three of your crafts. I would recommend, like, you're actually going to need quite a bit to reach mastery. I would say at least 500 barrel iron ore ingots, maybe even more. I would say maybe 600 barrel iron ore ingots. Silver ingots you can't use for anything. Your best bet is to see if you can either sell them on the auction house and then just buy arrow iron ingots on the auction house for the silver, or find someone who's willing to trade their barrel iron ingots for your silver, like someone who's a jeweler who doesn't need the barrel iron ingots. That could be a good thing, but I would recommend having at least upwards of 600 barrel iron ingots and then 600 medium hides, and that should be right around how much you need to reach that mastery level of both metalsmithing and tailoring. 600 barrel iron ingots will be plenty to get mastery with prospecting. So prospecting is way easier to get to mastery than metalsmithing or tailoring. All right, now once you get mastery with Journeyman, with tailoring and metalsmithing, I guess regardless of who you are, I mean, as me, captain, I wear heavy armor. Now you're able to craft some of the best in slot, like phase 1 best in slot level 21 crafted armor. All right, there's the level 21 crafted armor recipes that you can get from the Novice Metalsmith NPC who's in any crafting hall that you can find. Go to him, talk to him, and they're usually at the top right there, all the recipes you need. Buy them. I think they're about 6 silver each. They're not even that bad. Read them, learn them, and then because you're mastery, you have the ability to craft the crit version. All right, what you're going to need if you want to increase that chance by 44%, and I would recommend either buying or finding the recipe to craft them, the crit versions of crafting materials as well, because having a smithing hammer will give you an extra 4% crit chance. And then you'll take the Dusky Lynx Claws, which then gives you another 44% crit chance, to where you can get the crit version, which is then a nice purple, and it's better stats, better armor, and whatnot. These Dusky Lynx Claws you can find from the links out in the Lone Lands, or what you can do is kind of what I did, just because I was kind of like, I just want to get this done because I want to make this video. Let's speed this up. So I didn't bother going out and farming links for them because that could take a while. I just farmed silver, and I bought them off the auction house for about 70 silver a piece. You can farm them if you want, because it's a good way to where you could farm links at the same time with hides, to get hides and those Dusky Lynx Claws, and at the same time get you farm your barrel iron and get out in the kind of Lone Lands. So I mean, that wouldn't be a bad idea. But I think the links might be an area where it's more rich iron, so you're not going to find as much barrel iron ore. So, you know, it's kind of up to you. But what I'd say is, like, if you're a captain, champion, or guardian, this is some of the best armor you can have right now for phase 1. So it's worthwhile to making the grind to acquire it. It just takes a lot of time, but it's very much worthwhile. Now, what I've seen is the armor on the auction house, you can find it here and there. It's not always up there like the crit versions, and it's not very expensive, so you can go about the route of buying it off the auction house. But then what that causes, you have to rely on people to actually craft each piece on the auction house to eventually have all 6 pieces. Whereas if you craft it yourself, like me, you can have all 6 pieces without having to rely on someone to post them on the auction house. So I would just recommend that. Do it yourself, and then, you know, have another alt if you want to make a weaponsmith and whatnot. On that, I hope you've enjoyed this phase 1 initial tutorial and guide to armor. If there's anything big you thought I missed, especially, please leave it down in the comments below. Let me know what you want to see next. I do have plans of probably my next class is going to be a champion, and I'm going to make him a weaponsmith. I'll do a weaponsmith guide along with that, and then eventually I plan on making my one after that will be a guardian, and I think I'm going to make him a jeweler. Over time I'm going to keep making them and keep making the tutorials as I go, and then I have my captain class tutorial, like phase 1 tutorial. So as we go through these phases, I'm going to redo these tutorials as well, because then they're going to become kind of obsolete. But that's the plan anyways. Please hit that like, subscribe button, keep up when I post my new videos. Like always, I appreciate, love you all. Let me know what more you guys want to see. I'm trying to, please what you guys are asking for in the comments. I'm trying to get it to you. Just have a little bit of patience. It's just I ask and I appreciate it, just because like I said, I'm a busy guy. I'm gonna do my best to give you guys what you want, and as well as because this game is fresh, there's not a lot of videos out there, especially guides or tutorials or tips and tricks. So I'm gonna try and get that. But then there's also people who like watching just kind of like the gameplay, like my Great Barrel videos I just posted, and then also maybe like a leveling gameplay experience of with the champion or whatnot. So my goal with that champion too is to get the actual like undying title. So what with that, again, if you have any thoughts or concerns or comments, gripes, whatever, go ahead, throw them in the comments. I appreciate all of your guys' feedback and criticism and love and appreciation. I love you all. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Matty Ice out. Again, thank you so much, everyone. All the support is always appreciated. Please, if you can, it'd be really appreciated. Hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button. Also, leave a like, leave a comment. Do anything, share this. The more you do it, it helps, and it's going to help me with my journey and really trying to share this game with all of you and grow a community and just create something big. I love you all, and thank you again. Hope you all have a wonderful day.